Hi, today we're gonna make one of my very favorite desserts. This is a dessert you can make ahead of time if you're going to have guests over. And it's a dessert that you don't have to feel guilty about for serving it or for enjoying it. So today we're gonna make the freezin' pleasin' bars. Okay, sometimes I just like writing titles for recipes. So I'm Annette Reeder, the Biblical Nutritionist, and it is my joy to join you today in the kitchen. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. I'm using the Bosch mixer. I've taken off the bowl, and there's kind of a cap here that sits on the tower. You just want to pop that off and put that down here because we're actually going to use the Bosch food processor. Now the food processor is going to give us this S-blade. This is why they call it the S-blade. I can also use this for without the S-blade and just as a food chopper on top. But today I'm going to use it as a food processor. Put the S-blade in. I need to lock that in place, and then I need to put the lid on and lock that in place. When both pieces are locked, I can then put it on this tower and it works perfectly. If it's not locked in place, it will not go on. It's kind of a safety feature, which apparently they think we need. Okay. So here's our recipe, and I will post this down below so you can get it as well. We're going to start with 1 cup of almond meal. Now, if you've watched any of my cooking shows, and hopefully you have, and you're learning how to cook and save money at the same time, definitely make your own almond meal. Don't buy it already mealed up. For one, the oils are starting to go rancid because realize that's a whole food, the almond, and you want to mill it yourself. It's kind of like the wheat. We want to mill it ourselves. Next, I'm going to add our olive oil. Just kind of double checking my recipe, make sure I tell you right. And so this is 1/3 a cup. You can use more. I'm just not a super fan of a lot of olive oil. Next, we're going to add 8 dates. Now, these are not the chopped dates. These are the whole dates. I like working with these better because they're more moist and they actually blend up better. Amazing. To that, we're going to add our cocoa powder. Okay. The cocoa powder was, how much did I give you? I gave you 2/3 of a cup. Okay, then we're going to add some protein powder. This is why these bars are amazing. Okay. And then we're going to add some honey. Now, I always get my honey local. I like to find the beekeeper myself. If not, I have a co-op here on the Eastern Shore that has great local honey, so I can also buy it from them. Now, many of you may already know this, but getting local honey gives you a benefit for preventing allergy symptoms. And if you're not familiar with everything I'm telling you, this is all described in my Treasures of Healthy Living Nutrition Manual. I'll give you a link to that down below if you just want to check that out. The honey has amazing properties. It actually has a lot of proteins. It has essential oils in it, believe it or not. It has just a lot of antioxidant properties. And so it works really well in our body, but we don't need very much. That's the key. We don't need very much at all. Now I also put in the protein powder. Protein powders, oh, they've kind of become like the go-to. Everybody sells a protein powder. They may sell tires for your automobile and they sell protein powder on top of it. You know, everyone has a protein powder. But Consumer Reports, Consumer Lab has actually done many studies on the different protein powders that are out there on the market. And I'm telling you, listen to me, most of them are junk or they've added other stuff that you do not want. I would not go to the big box stores, either online or with my car, to buy a protein powder. I just won't do it because I need something that's of quality because I'm trying to live a long time and be as healthy as possible. I've got grandkids to play with. So I just want you to understand. So the protein powder, which I should have had ready to show you, that I use is actually the Shaklee protein powder. And I'll give you a link to it down below and also some other reasons as to why I choose this one. I'm not trying to live for today. I'm trying to build my life for tomorrow. So I'm not going to skimp when it comes to ingredients. And this is the most important part of your life, is building your tomorrow with your health. Okay, so enough of my lecture. So let's go ahead and blend this up. It's amazingly fast. And you don't have to hold your hand here. It's just a habit I've gotten into of how I do it. So not that it's required. Now to this, we could add nuts. We could add coconuts. Well, I don't really know of anything else, but I'm sure you could come up with something that you might want to add. Maybe, I don't know, maybe some raisins. To me, I don't really want it in this. Okay, so then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to spread it out on maybe a cookie sheet. I could actually shape this into some shapes. If there was a holiday coming up, I could do hearts. I could do Christmas trees. You know, you could put it in different molds. But basically, I'm just going to press this out. I don't want it very thick. And then I'm going to pop it in the freezer. And I put a little bit of butter on my pan. You could also just use parchment paper, and then you could take it off really simply without adding any extra calories as possible. I'm just going to press it out like that. And then, like I said, I'm going to pop it in the freezer. Once it's frozen, I'm then going to break it up into small pieces and then just store it in the freezer. I'm going to sprinkle a little bit coconut on top just because it looks pretty. And so the coconut is going to be your dried, unsweetened coconut. Do not be buying that sweetened sticky stuff that we used to buy when we were younger. So there you see we have it. I'll pop it in the freezer. Like I said, it'll take maybe 15-20 minutes to freeze. Then I'll break it up, store it in a container that's going to protect it from the moisture and everything else. And it'll last me, well, it could last about 2 weeks in your freezer and do perfectly well. It probably won't, because we actually really like this dessert. Just one piece a day and it's amazing. So just to go over this, we've added high quality protein to this. We use Tahani sweetener, so it does have a sweetener in it, but we've got good fiber, we've got good protein, and you know, those are my two things that we're always looking for. And we also have a little bit of flavor. Okay, we have a lot of flavor. Annette Reeder, the Biblical Nutritionist. I'm on mission to keep you on mission, and it is my delight to serve you. Consider having a cooking class at your church. What would that do? I think it would create a lot of fun, excitement, and interest in being healthy. Thank you for joining me. Be sure and subscribe to this cooking channel so that you can stay in tune with what I'm sharing next. You don't want to miss out. A lot of good stuff coming down the road. Have a great day.